Hello everyone, it is Pat with our weekly Angel Oracle card reading for you for the week beginning April 24th, going into the beginning of May. And again, happy spring to all of you. I am sitting out here with my flowers, and I am so delighted that the weather is finally warming up here in the Northeast. And we've got our spring flowers and blooms coming through. I'm so excited to be gardening. I know some of you in the Southern Hemisphere are about to go into your winter, so I empathize with you as the weather gets colder. But anyways, as we get going, I'm going to do what I usually do, which is to call upon the Archangels for our Archangel of the Week. And this week I felt guided to use the Daily Guidance from Your Angels Oracle card deck. I also brought the Fairy card deck out because, I don't know, sometimes it's just fun to hear or pick a card from the fairies because they're fun. So anyways, let's ask the Archangels, who's working with us this week? Who can we call upon if we need help for whatever issues are dealing with us? We're dealing with this week, and who do we need to go to? Okay, I've got one that's flipped out here right away. So for this week, we have the Archangel Gabriel with this message of nurture, and the card says, as you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child, and both activities are important in some way for you right now. So the initial hit that I get on this card with Gabriel is that we may be still working on doing some inner work, some inner self-care, okay? And for some of us, this may have to do with addressing issues that have been there for us since childhood. And if you have children, maybe it's something that you see your own kids going through, or maybe it's something you see a neighbor or a friend or a child in your neighborhood going through, and you remember going through it yourself, okay? And, you know, again, I will remind you that we are in a time where Mercury is still retrograde, and it's retrograde right through to the beginning of May. And one of the great things about this time is that it's a time for reflection. A lot of times we'll remember things that we thought we had put behind us, that we thought we had let go of and moved on from. And in a big way we have, but sometimes there's still remnants that resurface. And so it's about healing those. And so that's why Gabriel says, just remember the nurturing. If there was nurturing you wished that you had gotten as a child, so now you're giving that to somebody else in a way that you hadn't, remember to give it to yourself too, okay? A lot of times, and I've come across a few different people with this, maybe if they had a parent figure that wasn't really there for them, and they have a lot of anger around that and sadness, they need to grieve the loss of the parent they wish they had, and they need to nurture in many ways their own inner child in a way that they had wanted to or wish they had been nurtured. And I often find that when we don't do that for ourselves, we keep looking for it in the outside world in different ways and different forms. So, if you find that that's happening for you, then, kind of sit with it and nurture that inner part of you that wants to be healed. This may also just be very, in a simply way, if that's not going on for you, a message about just... Maybe you've been working really hard and you just need, you've been giving out a lot of yourself. There was a new term I heard the other day called compassion fatigue. If you're somebody who's in a profession or in a situation in your personal life where you're having to give out a lot of yourself, it's important to take time to nurture yourself, to give yourself time to yourself, to do all the little self-care things, maybe get a massage, take yourself out for a treat, get some other kind of health boosting self-care thing, maybe get some acupuncture. I like to go to a salt room for a crystal bowl, meditation, because those are deeply relaxing to me. So it's indicating that in some way, nurturing is in need this week. And to remember to nurture yourself, especially if you're processing a lot of stuff. It's important to take good care of yourself, okay? And Gabriel is the archangel who... she's a messenger angel, but she's the angel that is known in Christianity, who at Christmas time, or actually not at Christmas time, but she announced the messages to Mother Mary and Elizabeth of the forthcoming births. So she's associated with children and any issues surrounding dealing with children or your inner child. If you are having trouble with a child in your household at this time, or someone that you know or care about, call on Gabriel and ask for her intervention, or for her to work through you to be an earth angel of some kind. Okay, so now let's get to the daily guidance. All right, and I'll pick out 3 cards for the week, or however many spill out, as is the case sometimes. So let me just put these cards out of the way. Okay. Ooh, all right, there's one. Okay, what other messages what's our daily guidance for this week? Ooh. Oh, all right, there's another one that spilled out, but it went through the crack in the porch, so I'm going to have to go fish it out later. I'll post it later as a bonus card or something. Okay. Don't go through? Okay. All right. So, what do we have for our messages? So the first one that came out for the beginning of this week is see only love. And I apologize, this it's a little bit dark here. I tried to get a place where there was a lot of light, but it says look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings, and see only the love within each person, including yourself. Your resolute focus upon the love that underlies every situation brings about healing in undreamed of ways. So, it's reminding us that love is at the heart of the matter. Even if we feel like we made a grave mistake in some situation in our life, it doesn't get healed through critical self-judgment. All right, it's urging you to look underneath and see the love there within ourselves. And I'll share with you something I heard this week that was spoke to me a lot, and it was something from Brad Yates, who's a EFT practitioner, because I've been doing a lot of that lately. And he said self-sabotage is sometimes just really misguided self-love or self-care, because there's a part of ourself that really wants to protect our inner space, that inner core of who we are. So we do things that sometimes sabotage us getting exposed, or in some way there's an underlying fear there that we're going to be hurt in some way, so we need to put a guard up. But it's really a form of self-love. Even though it creates an uncomfortable or maybe awkward situation in the moment, underneath it there's a self-love and self-protective measure that's guided by self-love. So and it can be helpful to look at situations that you're dealing with from that perspective, okay? So it's the errors, the mistakes, the things that are all on the surface, that's all the ego stuff that shows up in the world. So it's urging you to look underneath. And maybe that's a process that you're involved in. That's what the beginning of this week is about, kind of taking the time to look underneath or look at the bigger situation, and to bring about healing for yourself or others in some way, or some situation in your life. And it's reminding you that once you do that, things can turn around very quickly and miraculously in ways that can just blow you away. It's amazing the way it happens sometimes. But so anyways, that's the beginning of our week. So it might be helping you break free from some things that you've been struggling with, situations that you've been struggling with, and work with this energy, okay? Because it's here to help you. So the other one that came out was acceptance. This is for going into the middle of the week, and it says, see yourself and others through the eyes of the angels with unconditional love and acceptance. In this way, you inspire and lift everyone to their higher potential. So again, it's a reminder about looking through the eyes of love. There's a lot of, difficult and uncomfortable situations going on in the world right now, even just beyond your personal life. There's a lot of stuff happening. And so the world and its powers that be that seem to have things going haywire, and all the saber rattling that's going on, and the threats of who's got more power and what they're going to do with that power, and et cetera, et cetera. situations like these can only be cured through love. Okay, it doesn't serve us to continue, trying to make small the other person, or to see them always as being wrong. So this is also about a self-acceptance on a personal level. Okay, about accepting who you are with all your quirks, all of your, idiosyncrasies. And even, I know one of the messages I got this week was, sometimes what we see as the darker side of ourselves actually holds a hidden treasure, and it's about accepting all of that. It can be a little tough sometimes to approach acceptance. Sometimes we don't want to accept what's in front of us or here. And we certainly don't have to, permanently accept something that isn't right to us, but we do need to accept our feelings about it and take responsibility for those, and that will guide us towards the action to take. So middle of the week, we're coming upon, an acceptance of where we are, acceptance of ourselves, and from that place, coming to a better understanding of what guided actions to take. And the end of the week, and this is great, it's like an outcome card, which is nice. And it's a lot of people think this is Archangel Michael, though I don't think the card references it specifically as him, but it says there's nothing to worry about. He says you are safe, and this situation is under the perfect control of divine providence, meaning God is in charge, and universal order. Only infuse loving thoughts and emotions into the situation to ensure that the highest possible outcome flows effortlessly to you and through you. So it's, again, a reminder of looking at it with love, okay? Infusing loving thoughts and emotions into the situation, okay? And even if you don't feel that way, like an example in a worldly way about our world leaders right now, if you can send love to that situation, I find that love and forgiveness, as hard as they are to step into sometimes, they have a neutralizing effect. They help to neutralize sometimes the intensity of the emotions, or just the intensity of a situation, and they can help to affect a more positive outcome. So love is the most powerful force and the most healing force in the universe. If you're a student of the Course in Miracles, which I sometimes I do read a lot in that, read the lessons. Love is all there is. Love is all encompassing and has no opposite. So it doesn't mean you don't stand up and speak your truth about things. Doesn't mean you become a doormat. Doesn't mean that at all. Love is a force, just like gravity or electricity. So anyways, those are our messages for the week. And of course, okay, if we have time, which we do, we have a couple minutes, let's pull a quick fairy card because the fairies are fun. Fairies, what's your message for us this week? And this is a combined fairy deck that I have of the magical fairies, the healing with the fairies, and some guardian angel cards thrown in there. So what is your message for us this week? What do we need to know? What's coming up for us? A miracle healing. Okay, now this could be in your own personal life or in some situation in the world that you may be concerned about. Okay, we may see miraculous turnaround in something. So have faith in that, and it's definitely due to all the work from that the cards are showing us on a personal level and on a global level. Self-love, because when you do the work of self-love on a personal level, it does affect the outer world and the world at large. So by working on the inner, it affects the outer. And so anyways, this is something exciting to look forward to, and that's why we got this message at the end, that there's nothing to worry about. Okay, at the end, there's a lot of relief at the end of the week. So have faith in that, okay, and trust in the work that you're doing with yourself through this week. All right, thank you so much, everyone. If you like these cards, I'll put a link below to where you can get a hold of them. And thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Take care, everyone.